Okay. Now I want to. This was 10 months ago, Mystery Maverick. She says, why would Stephen Cooper tell her to admit guilt when he knows she's innocent? He himself said on documentary, other people's content, when asked about turning down a deal. He says she's brave and she's innocent. Well, it's because you didn't understand what Tracy said here.
Okay, so Bryan insists on lying again. First of all, you keep saying, how do we have this letter? It's addressed to Darlie from her attorneys. Well,
There's a letter that went to Darlie in the jail, and somehow it made its way back out to the public. It's a letter. It's not a court file. And in that letter, it's on Justice for Devin and Damon. It's also on my channel. There's a letter where they claim that she was offered a deal of a life sentence if she would just admit her guilt. Right? It was suggested to her by her attorney, but it wasn't Stephen Cooper that was her attorney. I believe it was Richard Burr. It was suggested to her, to just admit your guilt and they'll take the death penalty off the table. So we also have a letter from Lauren Schmidt, Dallas County, that says no dog has ever not offered a deal for life, never. And I called Toby Shook, and a lot of people saw Toby Shook was a prosecutor. A lot of people saw that he told me no, Darla was never offered a deal, never. But I'm gonna let her talk here for a minute.
um, Darlie can't keep her entire case file.
Nobody said that Darla could keep her entire case file. It was a letter that was written to her that she read it and made sure that it got back out to the public so she could make it look like she turned that down. So how do we have it? I didn't say anything about an entire case file. As a matter of fact, though, you do have the right as an inmate to have your case file so you can work on your case.
In her cell. It would be
Nobody said an entire case file. Look how she has to maximize because she's a Darlie supporter. They have to maximize. Waddell was asleep in his cruiser. The medical examiner actually said that David could only live 9 minutes. When that's not what was said, they have to maximize. So she takes it from a letter to an entire case file. 20-some years old. See how she does that? Well, watch. I want to know how that letter got back out because they wanted us to see it.
literally impossible. So,
Yeah, I know her entire case file would be literally impossible, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a one-sheet piece of paper here.
so every once in a while, when it starts getting overwhelming, she boxes that up and sends that to her mother.
Oh, so she does get some of her case file, and she gets too much in there that she's got to send it home. Right, but she sure made sure to send that letter home. And if you look at it on my channel, Darlie wasn't offered a deal. Type it in. You'll see the letter. See how she maximizes? And every now and then, she sends some of that home to her mother. No, there's one letter.
And Darlie did not send out that letter.
Well, if it was addressed to Darlie, then how did we have it if Darlie didn't send it out? If it went to Darlie's cell, like you're just saying, how did we get it?
I got that letter. Me
You didn't personally get that letter. That was out way before you came along. It really was, Tracy.
personally from Darlie Key when I was saying I wish there was proof of a deal offered. And Darlie Key said, I've got the letter.
Yeah, so you got it, right? You got it. And Darlie Key put it out there. And Darlie Key's never told a lie in her life. Never. So you got it, and they made sure that it was out there.
Send it to me. I released it. I got my ass chewed for releasing it. It is obviously an offer from the state.
It's not an offer from the state. The letter is them suggesting that if you just take a life sentence, maybe we can get the DA. If you plea, if you say you're guilty, maybe they'll put your letter, put your sentence down to life sentence. That's what it says in it. Okay? That's what the letter says, Mystery Maverick. Now, if you would know this case as well as you claim to know, putting out a whole series, you would know that Stephen Cooper is only her appellate attorney. She's had many attorneys along the way, but Cooper's only her appellate attorney. Okay? And 3 people gave you a like. He said she's brave and she's innocent. Now, had Darlie taken that deal, that means all appeals are off the table for her. That means that if the DA would have agreed to it, which they wouldn't, it was just a suggestion from Richard Burr. I think that's his name, Richard Burr. But it was just a suggestion, and Darlie did. She said no to it, right? Because that would mean all of her appeals are off the table. She would definitely have to spend the rest of her life in prison, and they'd move her off of death row and into general population with women who are in there for other crimes that miss their kids. Be a pretty dangerous situation for her, I think. No, are you playing dumb?